Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back into my channel. So in this lab, we're going to configure Syslog and NTP. So we're going to configure Syslog and NTP. Now, you may wonder, what is Syslog and how it works? So Syslog is a good thing. It's a standard network-based logging protocol that works on an extreme wide variety of different types of devices and applications, allowing them to send free text format log messages to a central server. So essentially, every device on your network, whether it's a storage box or a server, a switch, or a firewall, likely has a syslog agent you can use to send messages to a common central location. So, by the way, when is syslog is being used? Well, people are familiar with SNMP, which is Simple Network Management Protocol, might be a little confused. Why? Do we need syslog if we already have an SNMP trap? Surely they both provide similar functionality. They are both used to send alert and messages to a central server without needing to be polled. As soon as an event occurs, the message can be sent without waiting for the server to poll for status. The biggest difference is SNMP trap has a special predefined format that contains in a MIB file. If an interface on a switch goes down, the MIB file has if down trap message that include useful information like the specific interface. That's great if you know ahead of time exactly what information the message will contain. But sometimes you don't. Then there are two really important cases where it's impractically to have the MIB file with predefined message type. The first is the one for which syslog was originally invented, application alerting. So in syslog, you may have the IDS, which is intrusion detection system, and different systems from different vendors. Now let's not wasting time. Let's go ahead and make this big and start our configuration with syslog. Now, in this lab objective, we're going to configure syslog services on part 1. On part 2, we're going to generate login events. On part 3, we're going to manual set switch clock. On part 4, we're going to configure NTP service. On part 5, we're going to verify timestamps logs. So first things first, let's go ahead and configure the syslog service. We're going to enable the syslog service. So click on the syslog server. So we're going to click here. Click on the syslog server. Let's start. We're going to turn on the syslog. So we're going to turn that on. And this is the Okay, so now that we open the syslog, let's go ahead and pull row one and start configure. So it says add. So conf d, we'll do login. So it's 10.0.1.2.4. Okay. So now let's configure switch one to send log events to the syslog server. Let's go ahead, switch one, make this big. What am I doing? Oh yeah. Okay, so it says add conf d, and we could do login, and it's 10.0.1.254. Okay, so now in part two, we're going to generate logs events. So we're going to change the status of the interface to create an event log. So configure a loopback 0 interface on router 1. Then we're going to disable it. Let's go ahead and pull router 1. Router 1. Let's do interface loopback 0. Right, and let's shut it down. Now, we're going to turn off PC1 and PC2, then we're going to turn it back on. PC1. How do we turn that on? Yes. Sorry, guys. Wasn't. So let's say we turn that off as if that we remove this cable. No. So go ahead and do this. So if you were to turn off PC1 and PC2, you would see the you would look at the syslog event and you will know that all of the events have been recorded. However, the timestamp may be incorrect. Now we're gonna clear the log before proceeding into the next part. So let's say on switch one, if we're to do If we were to do clock set to 134, we could say March 5th, and it's 23rd. Okay, so now we can enable the login timestamp service on the switch. We're gonna configure that from switch, configure that on switch 1 and switch 2 to send the timestamp with logs, send it to the Syslog server. So we already on switch 1, let's do it, let's do service. Let's do service. This to have to be on the conft service, timestamp, log, date time, MSEC. Let's do the same for switch 2. Let's go on CLI. Say no. Okay, so enable conf so service service timestamp. Let's do log date, then MSC. Okay, so now we can configure the NTP service. So we're going to enable the NTP service. This activity, we are assuming that the NTP service is being hosted to a public internet server. If the NTP server was private, the authentication could also be used. Now on the NTP server, we're going to open the service tab. Let's go ahead. On the NTP server, we're going to open the service tab, and then we're going to open the service tab on the NTP server, and we're going to turn on the service. Go ahead and turn on the service and enable. So we're going to set the clock on router 1 to the date and time according to the NTP server. So this is says January. It says January 31st, 2000. So then we could do NTP server. Let's X out. So NTP server, and give it an IP of 64.103.224.2. Right? So now, if we issue a show clock command to view the Syslog, the system clock settings, it could take time for the system clock to be updated to the time that is configured on the NTP server. Now, if the system clock has not updated, we could click the fast forward time button until the router system clock is synchronized with the NTP server. Now, we could verify the timestamp log. The way we'll do that, we're going to change the status of the interface to create an event. So we enable and then disable the loop back 0 interface on router 1. So let's go ahead and do. So we're already on router 1. Let's go ahead and do interface loop back 0. We're gonna say no shutdown, right? And then we're going to shut it down so we can create an event. So now, if we were to turn off, all the laptops, if we were to turn off all the laptops, then turn them back on and examine the syslog event, you would look at all the events. Now, note that all of the events has been recorded and the timestamp so we turn it off and we turn it back on. Then we go this laptop here too. Let's go ahead. Turn it off. We turn it back on. Show. Yep. So it's good. It gives us exactly the same date with the Syslog server here. Right? It's January 31st, 2020. So guys, thank you so very much for following along with me. So this lab was very helpful. It's to show you how to configure the Syslog and the NTP. So So as you know that the syslog messages can be time-stamped for analyze of the sequences of a network event. Therefore, it is important to synchronize the clock across the network devices with the network time protocol, which is the NTP server. So guys, so what syslog explained in this lab, it's just a standard protocol that used to send system log and event messages to a specific server that called a syslog server. So it is a primary used to collect various device log from several different machines in a central location for monitoring and reviewing stuff. So the reason that you would use this, it's a protocol that a computer system used to send event data log in central location for storage. So logs can then be accessed by analyzing and reporting software to perform audit, monitoring, troubleshooting, and other essential IT operational tasks. So thank you so very much. Stay tuned for another lab on the CCNP Encor. Stop sharing and this.